In an era where information is power, the most guarded truths have often been shrouded in layers of bureaucracy, red tape, and intentional misdirection. But in early 2025, something unprecedented happened. After years of mounting pressure from lawmakers, whistleblowers, and a public demanding answers, the Pentagon released one of its most revealing declassified documents on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, what most still refer to as UFOs. These files go beyond grainy cockpit footage or vague congressional statements. They hint at a terrifying possibility: we are not alone. And some of what's operating in our skies is not under any known government's control. This wasn't just another lukewarm admission or sanitized press release. It was a window, brief but chilling, into the most secretive corners of defense, science, and what may be the edges of human understanding. What follows is a breakdown of what was in those files, who was behind the push to make them public, and what they suggest about humanity's place in the universe. The release. Why now? The documents were made public under a revised Transparency Directive passed as part of the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act. After years of debate, Congress inserted language mandating the release of any non-classified materials relating to UAPs that did not pose a direct risk to ongoing national security operations. This followed months of testimony from intelligence insiders, including former Pentagon officials, Air Force pilots, and even contractors who had worked with aerospace defense programs. The files were published with minimal redactions and made available through the Department of Defense's online archives, instantly triggering a storm of media attention. But what set this release apart was the depth of detail: flight patterns, encounter descriptions, sensor data, and even internal memos analyzing the psychological and technological implications of what military personnel were reporting. 512 confirmed UAP incident. Since 2004, one of the most explosive revelations was the tally 512 verified UAP encounters logged by US military personnel between 2004 and 2023. These were not random blips or civilian misunderstandings. They were confirmed by multiple radar systems, corroborated by visual sightings, and in many cases recorded by high-fidelity infrared targeting systems. Among these, over 100 incidents involved objects performing maneuvers that defy known laws of physics: 90-degree turns at hypersonic speeds, sudden stops without inertia, and underwater submersion without any detectable transition. These were not Chinese drones or Russian hypersonic tests. Analysts made clear in the documents, the objects observed exhibited performance characteristics inconsistent with any nation state capability currently known to the department. The 2019 naval engagement off Guam, one particularly disturbing case, detailed an extended encounter in 2019. When a US Navy strike group operating near Guam tracked a formation of UAPs for nearly 4 hours. Initially dismissed as radar anomalies, the objects were then observed visually by both drone surveillance and ship-mounted optical systems. They moved information. 5 objects flying in a diamond pattern, maintaining perfect equidistance regardless of wind speed, elevation changes, or ship maneuvers. When 2 FGA A-18s were deployed to intercept, one pilot reported a solid black sphere hovering at 30,000 feet with no visible propulsion. As he closed in, his instruments froze and his header glitched, a phenomenon echoed by radar technicians on the ground. The files include a debrief stating, weapons systems were temporarily disabled without electronic interference. Possibility of directed EM disruption suspected, origin unknown. Biological sensors and radiation spikes. The documents include a section titled Human Impact Observations. In at least 34 incidents, military personnel experienced immediate physiological effects after encountering UAPs. Symptoms included temporary blindness, nausea, skin reddening, and disorientation. One incident from 2016 described a pilot whose helmet cam captured a brief but intense flash of light moments before he blacked out mid-flight. Subsequent analysis showed a spike in radiation levels inside the cockpit, though no exterior radiation source was detected. Medical reports attached to these files indicate that several individuals developed unexplained neurological symptoms weeks later, symptoms resembling those associated with microwave exposure or severe magnetism. This section also included an unexpected reference to biological matter of non-terrestrial origin found on the wing of an Air Force drone after a low-altitude UA flyby in Alaska. The sample was reportedly transferred to a facility under the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and classified at a higher level. Its results not disclosed in this batch. Classified craft retrieval operations acknowledged for decades, conspiracy theorists and insiders alike have claimed that the US government had recovered crashed or downed UAPs. The 2025 release marked the first time that the Pentagon admitted such operations had occurred, though still couched in vague language. A 2011 memo from a now retired general described a material recovery operation in the Utah desert involving an anomalous object of unknown origin, partially intact. While the document did not specify what was retrieved, it noted that the material was non-ferrous, non-reflective, and exhibited extreme structural integrity beyond current composite capabilities. The memo goes on to state that reverse engineering attempts were limited in progress due to lack of known analogs. While this falls short of confirming extraterrestrial technology, it raises critical questions: who built it? Why was it here? And where is it now? Underwater UFOs and the transmedium problem. Another major topic was the growing body of evidence related to transmedium objects. UAPs that operate seamlessly between air, water, and even subterranean environments. Navy sonar logs from 2017 and 2020 recorded unidentified objects moving at over 200 knots underwater, double the speed of any known submersible vehicle. One encounter involved the USS Omaha, which tracked an object descending from 20 Zalosen feet and entering the ocean without splash, sonic boom, or structural disintegration. Submarine patrols dispatched to the area later reported anomalous magnetic field readings and sonar images showing an undefined solid object maintaining geometric symmetry at depth. The files speculate that these objects may not be craft in the traditional sense, but energy-driven constructs capable of altering their density and structure based on environment. It's a suggestion that borders on science fiction, but comes directly from official analysis. Cognitive disruption and perception distortion. In 12 documented incidents, witnesses reported what can only be described as cognitive disruption, hallucinations, time loss, or shifts in spatial awareness after close encounters. One Air Force radar technician in 2018 described staring at a UAP hovering outside the tower window for several minutes, only to later realize the event lasted less than 20 seconds. His clock, watch, and internal logs all confirmed the shorter duration. Another pilot reported seeing a shape morph in real time, from a glowing orb to a metallic triangle, before disappearing completely. These perceptual distortions raise uncomfortable possibilities that some UAPs may be manipulating human consciousness as part of their interaction. The files stop short of concluding intentional mind control, but several scientists consulted by the department's Strill Intelligence may rely on cognitive interface methods rather than mechanical displays for interaction or evasion. For approximately 11 seconds, the region experienced an electromagnetic blank out. Communications dropped, satellites rerouted, and sensor equipment was disabled. At the center of the event, a bright orb was recorded by 2 Canadian weather drones. The Pentagon's analysis states, the object emitted no heat signature prior to the burst and left no residual trace on follow-up sweeps. More alarmingly, NORAD's backup systems logged a series of low-frequency audio pulses occurring immediately after the burst, patterns resembling structured signals rather than natural phenomena. This event was kept under wraps until now. It marked the only known global UAP effect that impacted both atmospheric sensors and satellite infrastructure. Intelligence agencies reportedly collaborated with foreign governments to ensure data secrecy, raising questions about how many such events go unreported, why some files are still missing. Although the 2025 declassified release was extensive, key files remain redacted or referenced only by title, among them Program Sigma, Ganymede Array Incident, and Isotope Recovery, Project Malachite. These documents appear in indices, but not in the release packet, suggesting that either their contents remain too sensitive or that they pertain to ongoing research programs. One particular memo mentions a confirmed interface event with a non-human intelligence during Sigma Phase 4, but all other details are blacked out. Independent researchers are now using FOIA lawsuits to press for the release of these titles, arguing that their presence in declassified indices implies non-operational status. As more pressure builds, we may eventually see the files behind the files, but the government's reluctance suggests the implications go far beyond aerial anomalies. The emergence of AARO's Phenomenology Division, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office AARO, which was established in 2022 to study UAPs, now includes a new branch known as the Phenomenology Division. This team is reportedly staffed with cognitive scientists, theoretical physicists, and remote viewing experts. Their role? To explore how UAPs interact with human perception, psychology, and consciousness itself. One internal report leaked in late 2024 noted that some UAPs do not follow linear behavior models, and interaction appears based on observation, attention, or intention. In other words, looking at them, or thinking about them, may influence their behavior. This aligns with ancient folklore from around the world that certain entities or phenomena only appear to those ready to see them, or only when a specific mental state is achieved. Is it possible the government is beginning to merge hard science with metaphysical exploration? Implications for national security. While much of the report was exploratory or descriptive, the tone becomes markedly more serious in its final chapters. Several recommendations are made to treat UAPs not merely as passive mysteries, but as technological actors in unknown strategic posture. In other words, we don't know if they are friendly, neutral, or hostile. And until that's known, every appearance must be taken seriously. The Pentagon advises increased funding for directed energy research, electromagnetic shielding, and gravitational propulsion modeling. It also urges the establishment of a joint task force with allied nations under a shared UAP protocol. This is not how you treat weather balloons or drone misidentifications. This is the language of preparation, for contact, for defense, or for revelation. What this means for us for decades, the idea of UFOs was relegated to late night radio shows and science fiction conventions. But with the 2025 release, the conversation has shifted irrevocably. This isn't a question of belief anymore. It's about evidence. And the evidence is mounting. The files don't confirm little green men. They don't declare alien visitation, but they raise another question far more unnerving. What's been in our skies all this time that we still can't explain? And if these phenomena are beyond our control, our physics, and perhaps even our understanding, how do we prepare for what comes next? More than anything, the documents reveal a disturbing humility from the most powerful military in the world. We don't know what this is. And sometimes, that's more terrifying than any answer. As we move deeper into the 21st century, the sky no longer belongs solely to nations, satellites, or commercial aircraft. It's becoming a contested, unknowable frontier, one in which human technology may not be the apex after all. What else might still be hidden? What revelations are waiting in the next wave of declassification? And how close are we, truly, to the moment when secrecy must give way to undeniable truth? For more journeys into the shadows of truth and the mysteries that govern our world, keep your eyes on the unseen.